Hi everyone, happy Thursday. Welcome to this week's edition of Clarissa Explains It All. I'm so excited to be on week number 2 with you here today, and I'm excited about what we're talking about today. So in my blog this week, I talked about something that I have been really thinking on lately. It's a concept that has just really shifted a lot of things in my life, and I'm so excited to share it with you today. And that concept is the idea of letting it happen. So what does that mean? A couple of years ago, I was thinking back to a few years ago, my mantra for a long time has been, make it happen. I've really prided myself on, getting stuff done and always having a doing attitude and just always being on top of things. And I was thinking back to this particular experience of a few years ago. I decided that I wanted to go to, hi Meg, welcome, thanks for watching. I wanted to go to Italy. I moved to San Francisco, I fell in love with Little Italy. I don't know, I just had this huge desire to go to Italy, and I didn't know how I was gonna make it happen, but I had that mentality of just, I'm gonna make it happen. Earning the money and doing all the things and feeling like if I, can just go to Europe, like everybody that I know is traveling, and I just really wanted this to be a part of who I am. And so I figured out how to get all the pieces together. I did a study abroad program, and I went to Italy for 6 weeks and traveled around Europe, and it was amazing. It was amazing. I loved it. I loved Europe. My heart still yearns to go back there. But if I'm honest, there was always, through the whole experience, still this underneath part of me that just, there was still something missing. I remember being in Paris and just feeling this kind of building up of anger and feeling like, I'm in Europe, I'm in Paris, why am I feeling this way? And it brings me to what I want to talk about today, because a lot of times we have this mentality of thinking that if we do things, then we can have things we want, and then we'll be happy, right? And especially here in America, we're so great at this. We're so great at thinking if we work really hard, then we'll have the money, we'll be able to travel, we'll, be able to have the things that we want to have, and then we'll be happy. And it just doesn't work that way. The truth is it just doesn't work that way. Really, we need to be the person that we want to be and develop those things inside of us, and then we do, because we can't just be, we can't just when I say let it happen, I don't mean that it's possible to just lay on your bed and visualize. I mean, maybe there's people in the world that can make that happen, but most of us can't. There does have to be some level of doing, but the being has to come first, and then the doing, and then what we want comes to us. It's just a natural byproduct of being what we need to be in order to have the things that we want to have. So I just want to share, this is going to be a short, quick video like normal. I like to just pop in and give you some valuable tips on how you can be a better version of you so that you can do the things you love and have the things you want to have. So how do we do this? Well, first of all, what does being mean? What does that even mean? So being is the way of being. How are you being? What are the characteristics, the traits inside yourself, the way of, who you are as a person that are going to be able to get you to where you want to go. So, the first thing that we have to have is a vision. We have to have a vision. We have to be able to see what the thing is that we want to have at the end, whether that's, whatever that is, whether that's going to Italy, whether that's buying, brand new Ferrari, whether that's impacting massive people in the world, whatever that thing is that you want to have, you have to be able to envision that first, right? And then you go backwards and say, okay, what are the ways of being that I need to be in order to do the middle part and make that happen. Let it happen, because you're being and you're allowing yourself to just be and then have those things come to you. So, being honest, being confident, being faithful, being truthful, being calm, being insightful, those are all being words of the ways of being in order to get to the thing that you want to have. So once you have that vision and you've discovered what your vision is and you've said, this is the thing that I want to create, and you set that intention, then you can say, okay, now what are the ways of being that I'm going to need to be in order to have that thing that I want to have? And then you start developing yourself and you start working on those being words, and then automatically you come up with the doing, because the mechanics, the middle part, can be 5 million things, right? Like if I want to say I want to buy a new Ferrari, like there's 5 billion ways I'm going to come up with that kind of money to be able to do that, right? But I can't do that if I'm not being the kind of person that can come up with that kind of money, right? So that's what I mean by the being and then the doing and then the having, because it absolutely takes action, but it first starts with being. And if you can cultivate that being happy and being fulfilled and being present and being insightful and being honest and being faithful, then naturally whatever you want to have is going to come to you, because you are going to do the things that that kind of a person would do to get the thing that you want to have. So I hope that makes sense. I wanted to leave you with a few tips on how to, once you set that intention and you come up with the ways of being, how you can continue to develop that way of being within yourself. And some of those things are identifying moments, like really being present. Not worrying about what's happened in the past, and not even worrying so much about what's going to happen in the future. You have that vision and you set that declaration of that intention of that thing that you want to create, but then really being present in the moment and seeing what's coming, because the thing is once you set that intention and when you're being present, all of the things that are going to get you to that next space are naturally going to come to you, because you're being the person that is going to have that thing. Type in the comments if this doesn't make sense, because it's, sometimes it can be a new concept to us, because we are so used to doing and doing and doing and doing and getting the things that we want, instead of just being the person that we need to be in order to have that. Another thing that's really helpful is mindfulness, meditating, giving yourself any kind of time. I've been talking with a lot of people lately about meditation, and I just want to say this on here because a lot of people, meditating is like a buzzword right now in our community, especially in the communities that I'm in, and it's like, what is meditating? Because a lot of people, I remember a professor that I had at UNLV, we had a conversation about meditation, and he was like, is meditating like clearing your mind? I don't believe in meditation. He said, I don't believe in meditation because there's no way to clear out your mind. Like, our mind is always thinking, and that's 100% true, and that's not what meditating is. Meditating is training your mind to focus on one thing, and it's really training yourself to be in control of your mind, because we aren't our minds. We're not our bodies, we're not our minds. We are our beings. And meditating is such a valuable way of practicing that practice of being in control of your mind. And the way to do that, what meditation actually is just focusing on one thing, whether that's your breath, whether that's, just really focusing on one thing. And every time your mind starts to wander, because it will, because that's what our minds do, is constantly thinking, coming back to that one thing that you're focusing on and training your mind to be present to the moment. When you start thinking about all the things you need to do during the day or tomorrow or next year, and all the things that you wish you would have done yesterday, bringing yourself back to the moment and being present. Another thing that helps with being present and with being is learning how to be okay with not knowing everything, letting go of control, relinquishing control of how it's going to happen, what you need to do to make it happen, and just letting it be and saying, however it comes to me is going to be the perfect way. And if I'm being, hi Carolee, hi Tianka, Avonlea, thanks for watching. What do I need to be instead of, and letting go of control of the how or the when or the what ifs or the, all of those things that come to our mind, and just really being present with what's happening in the moment, and deeply knowing that everything that we desire is coming to us if we're being the person that can get those things. Another thing is having daily rituals to calm your mind, whether that's, some people don't want to meditate. That's totally fine. What is something that you can do for yourself every day that's a ritual for you, that gives you that time to really tune into your mind and your body and your heart and your soul, and get you in that practice of being, because that's what this is about, is practicing being, practicing being those qualities, the kind of person that you want to be, to cultivate the things that you want to have, and then you're naturally going to do the things that you need to do, and your mind is going to come up with the mechanism to get you from where you are to where you want to go. Another thing that's really helpful is getting away from screens. I think it's so funny how a lot of us, we're just so connected to our technology, and it's kind of funny saying this when I'm doing a Facebook Live, but I really advocate people to take time away from their computers and their phones. We are so in what we have now with our cell phones, and we have constant input into our minds, and we are just training our minds constantly to need to have stuff like this fast, and also training our minds to not be able to control that. We're like literally training ourselves to need constant entertainment, constant validation, constant knowledge coming in, and it's like the absolute opposite of how to be present, because we can't be present if we have like 5 million things coming into our mind all the time. So I really advocate this, giving yourself an amount of time every day where you really just unplug from everything and be present with what's happening in your life, the sounds coming at you, the things you're smelling, just like tuning into your senses and really teaching yourself and quieting your mind, and developing those characteristics that are really going to make you into the being that you want to be. And then the last thing I want to share is reflecting. Whether this is something that you do at night before you go to bed, or in the morning when you wake up, or in the middle of your day during lunch, like whenever works best for you, really giving yourself a few moments to just reflect on what's happening, what you're grateful for, and who you're being. Reflecting on, am I being the person that I need to be in order to create the things I want to create in my life, or am I allowing myself to just be triggered or just be in reaction to whatever's happening to me? Am I really being who I want to be? So anyways, that's my message for today. Really setting the intention, setting that vision, thinking about what are the ways of being that are going to cause me to be able to create that, and then going forth and focusing on the being and doing. Like I said at the beginning, we do have to do things. We can't just sit and say law of attraction, just come to me. It does take doing, but when we're being, then we're naturally going to do the things that we need to do, and then we're going to have the things that we want to have. And honestly, that's the way to be truly happy, because the other way just doesn't work. The other way of doing and then having, and then I'm going to be happy, it just doesn't work that way. We really have to cultivate the being, and that's really what's going to bring fulfillment and joy and happiness and peace and all of the things that we desire to feel in our lives. So anyways, comment below if that message was helpful for you today, and I'll see you all back here again next week. Bye for now.